Well, Keanu Reeves just gets better with age. Hey, I'm Amy and welcome back. It is John Wick 3 Parabellum, or John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum time. I have been so excited for this movie. If you did not watch, it was one of my first videos. I'm very embarrassed about it, so if you want to watch it, be warned that this was filmed almost a year and a half ago, and it was when I was very new to YouTube, but I did a review of the first two John Wick movies. You can check it out up there. I'm not super proud of it. There is so much I want to change about that review, but I will say that I did enjoy the first two John Wick movies. I love the action of them. Did not like the story super much, but I will get into that in a second. So this is John Wick Chapter 3, and we find out, this is a slight spoiler, but not really. We find out that Parabellum, I think, is a Latin, I don't know, for prepare for war, because we see Ian McShane's character say that. So it's pretty much John Wick Chapter 3, prepare for war, and oh boy, is there a war. It is a fun war. Also, don't hate me if I spend quite a bit of time talking about Halle Berry's fight scene. I won't. I mean, it's a fight scene. There's not really, much to spoil in that, but I don't think I'll do very many spoilers, but I am super hype on Halle Berry and her fight scene. But let's get into this review. So it has been since that video that I did that I've watched the first two, and I watched them back to back, so it took me a little bit to get going, but there are enough context clues within the movie for me to kind of catch up and remember what had happened in the previous movies. My biggest complaint with this movie, and it's the same complaint I had with the first two, is the storytelling in this. I mean, it's not done horribly wrong, it's just the story isn't very strong, and I don't think a lot of action movies do really have a very strong story. It's a standard assassin running away from his group because he did something bad and he's like on the run kind of thing, and yeah, it's not like anything super special, but I wasn't here for that. I was really just here for the action because I just wanted a movie to watch that was just fun and actiony, and my voice sounds like it's going, which I'm sorry, I am kind of getting a sore throat. Oh, and another thing that I do have issue with, I didn't really have an issue with this in the first one because they didn't do it as much, or if at all, but they did it in the second one and this one. It's these stylized subtitles whenever anybody is talking any foreign language. It took me out a little bit because I was like, why are you just putting certain words in this totally different font and totally different color? It didn't fit really well, and it was kind of awkward for me. I was like, just do it all in the white. I like that font in the white, and it's totally cool. You don't really need to do anything. The only time it really felt natural was when Ian McShane's character said Parabellum, which means prepare for war, and prepare for war was in a completely different color than the rest of it. And they also had text like fading in and then fading out, and it was just really weird. Even for a movie that is this stylized, it just does not work well for me. Would have liked to see just some plain subtitles because there's so much else going on that you don't need the subtitles. Like, even in the moments of stillness, you don't need to have something crazy and popping out like the subtitles, along with or popping out like the subtitles in a movie or any moment of still. I can't even talk about what I'm trying to talk about in moments like that, because you still have the way the lighting is done. It's done in such a way that it's like that's a stylized unto itself, so you're having so many different layers that it just felt a little bit too much for me. So that kind of like took it down a point for me. But the action, and whoo boy, I'm going to talk about the action, brought it up like 3 points. So we'll see where I get to my rewatch score at the end of this. But let's talk about the action in this, because oh boy, that's what I was here for. Keanu Reeves does so good, and I loved it. I loved all of the action in this. There are a couple fight scenes that they did an amazing job with the sound design on it, at least the sound editing. They cut out all of the music and just had sound effects. There was like the scene in the knife shop that was amazing. It was like the second huge fight scene. The first one was really good. They did have a little bit of music underneath it, but it was an amazingly choreographed scene. All of the fight scenes were amazingly choreographed, but there's one in particular that I really, really liked. I'll get to in a second. The one in the knife shop where it's just no music and all you hear is bones breaking or the knives going into something or teeth cracking. It's just insane and intense, and it's gruesome. I don't usually get grossed out at things like this. I usually get more grossed out at like bloody like hospital stuff. Like there is a scene where John Wick, spoiler alert, has to sew up a cut on his shoulder, and that got me a little bit. I kind of got grossed out by that. But normally I don't get grossed out by like bloody fights or horror things, because like in horror movies, slashers and zombie movies are my favorite, and there are some of the more gruesome horror movies. But like Hostel is more of the like, Hostel and Saw, those are like more of the hospital gruesome type that really get to me and I'm not a huge fan of. But we're not talking about horror movies. We're talking about really gross fight scenes in John Wick. There are a couple kills that they do the same kill twice. They do repeat kills a little bit, but there's only so many ways you can kill a person, and after 3 movies of at least 6 or 7 fight scenes in each movie, you're gonna run out of ways to kill people. And the one that they repeated the most that I noticed, or they repeated it twice at least, but the one that I noticed that they repeated a lot was like, spoiler alert, stabbing through the head, which is very intense and kind of gross, but I still enjoyed it. I still enjoyed a lot of it. But my favorite fight scene, I don't want to give away anything. There is a group of people coming for Anjelica Huston's character, who I believe she's Russian. She's a Russian character, and they're coming to her studio where she like teaches ballet. It had a very Red Sparrow vibe to it, kind of. Yeah, Red Sparrow. But they're going to get Anjelica Huston's character for payback for helping John Wick. Spoilers, she helps John Wick. They're cutting in between these assassins coming to get her, fighting through all of her guards, and her watching the ballet class that she's teaching. And it's just this beautiful symphony with this beautiful classical music that they underlay between this one, and they also underlay this really great classical music during the beginning of the climactic fight scenes at the end. I just love the juxtaposition of this beautiful flowing music. I guess it's not really even a juxtaposition, it's just the parallelness of the ballet and this classical music and the grace that these assassins have when fighting and killing other assassins. It's just this beautiful synchronicity. Don't think that's the word I'm looking for, but it's just this beautiful weaving together of these 3 different, I guess, art forms. Killing someone is an art form. The way they do it is actually so beautiful. And then you just see as there's this just beautiful sequence on the stage where the assassins come out as the ballerinas go back, and they keep dancing in the background as the assassins just stand up there on stage, and Anjelica Huston realizes what happens or what's happening. Oh, it's really good. I could talk for hours about how beautiful, and like it's like watching a ballet, the way they do some of these fight scenes. And they do go on, this was a gripe I had with the first 2, at least actually in the catacomb scene in the second one, they do go on a little bit too long, but I kind of forgive it because there's so much to watch and they're so beautifully well done and put together that it's hard to get bored. I did get bored during a couple of them, but I forgive it because they're still beautiful and fun. So now I want to get to some of the cast members and kind of bridging between the action scenes and the cast members. And somebody I'm going to talk about quite a bit compared to the rest of the cast members is Halle Berry's fight sequence and Halle Berry's character. Spoiler alert, she's not in this as much as you would think, considering they really pimped her out in all of the promo stuff, but I really did like the scenes that she was in. As you probably may have noticed recently, I have been really appreciating and looking for strong female characters in a lot of the movies I have been watching, and while her acting wasn't top-notch in this, it wasn't like Halle Berry top-notch, she was amazing. She worked so well with the dogs that she had. From interviews, she trained with them for 6 months. She even broke a rib while training or doing a stunt, I believe. Her fight scene just kept me glued to the screen the entire time because of the way, and again, like a ballet, she worked so well with the dogs. She just moved fluidly throughout the scene, and I absolutely loved her character. Maybe it was more because I was excited to see this strong female character pretty much on John Wick's level. I want to see more strong female characters, especially in action movies like this, which I think we will be getting in Hobbs and Shaw with Vanessa Kirby. I'm very excited to see her in that. But yes, I really loved Halle Berry's character in this because she was just such a strong female character, more for the fact that she was literally a strong character because she could fight, and she just was also, she didn't take shit from anybody, and I really liked that because that is something that you want in a female character. And then, I mean, of course, like Lawrence Fishburne, hilarious and just really great. I liked his character in the second one, and I really liked him in this one. And then Ian McShane is Ian McShane. Nothing really else to say there. Jason Mantzoukas is in this. I don't know if anybody else knew that. He has been kind of pimping it out. He talked a little bit about it on How Did This Get Made. He was on Seth Meyers, I believe, talking about it. He wasn't in this as much as I had hoped, and he wasn't as Jason Mantzoukas-y as I had hoped either. But Jason Mantzoukas is in this. Let's see, who else is in this that I really wanted to talk about? Oh, that's right. The ninja that is following John Wick the entire movie is the freaking chairman from Iron Chef America.
Let the battle begin!
And I found that out, and my mind exploded because I spent the entire movie trying to figure it out. I spent the entire drive home trying to figure it out. I spent the entire drive to work this morning trying to figure it out. I finally looked it up when I got to work because my boss and I were talking about it, and I was like, dude, this is the Iron Chef chairman, and now I just want to watch Iron Chef. And then Keanu Reeves, because, you know, you can't really talk about John Wick without talking about the titular character. Keanu Reeves is like a fine wine. He just gets better and better with age. He can still kick butt. He was the best actor in this, actually. The chairman from Iron Chef. He was really great. He made this movie surprisingly funny. I did not think it would be as funny as it was. But I think that is just about everything. My foot is falling asleep, so I'm gonna wrap this up. My rewatch score for this would probably definitely be collection. I do have the second one. I want to get the first one, and I will be getting this one when it comes out on Blu-ray because it is so much fun and I want to rewatch those action sequences over and over again. If I were to give it like something out of 5, it would be like 3.5-ish. Not quite 4, because story, it just didn't quite stack up, but action, it was just, you know, above and beyond everything. So that is my rewatch score. Let me know in the comments down below, what did you think of John Wick Chapter 3? And for the no context question, let me know in the comments. Do not say my favorite blank. Just put blank, okay? That's the instructions for the no context question every video, and nobody ever does that correctly except for a couple people. No context question is your favorite John Wick movie. Or actually, not even your favorite John Wick movie. Put in your no context comment your favorite your just favorite action movie. Because, I mean, I would love to see what everyone's favorite action movie is. But again, no context. Don't even put my favorite action movie. Just put the name of the action movie. Okay? You got it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really, truly do appreciate every single one of you. Let me know who you are in the comments down below, and let's be friends. If you enjoyed this, leave a like and subscribe if you're new, because I love talking on things, movies, TV shows, filmmaking, film history, all that fun stuff, and I'll see you next time. Bye!